All right, what's up, guys? Welcome. I'm excited for this call. We're going to dive into productivity and really how to master the art of productivity and how to leverage your time for more freedom. And like I just said, go ahead and comment where you're watching from and share this. We're going to give away 2 free books once again, Lewis Howes and Sell It Like Sirhan. So if you comment where you're watching from and you share this, you'll get a chance to win these. I'm going to pick a winner in the next 24 hours. So welcome. I'm excited to be here. And something I want to share with you right away is I thought I knew what productivity was. I thought I managed my time pretty well. Not the best at it, but I thought I was pretty good until I had a son. So we had a son. He just turned 10 months, actually, which is crazy. I kind of want to show you a picture of him. And ever since then, my productivity has skyrocketed. I mean, getting 3 to 4 times more done in less time because I want to make sure I'm present with him. And it's interesting. We were watching a movie 2 nights ago, me and my family, and it was called Disconnect with Jason Bateman. And he was super busy. He was high up at this company, but he was working 24/7. Like he was working nonstop. And his kids would ask him questions at the dinner table, just kind of half-ass answer, not paying attention. He was always somewhere else. He was always engaged in 3 or 4 things. His phone, something else was on his mind. Long story short, one of his sons, I think he was 14 or 15, was going through it. And he would come home depressed, sad. And his dad would just ask him once, "What's wrong?" "Nothing." "Okay." Go back to his phone. Doesn't even pay attention to him. Fast forward, something happens. Things build up in this kid. And he ends up trying to commit suicide and hung himself in his room. And they go to the hospital. Long story short, that was a wake-up call for him to put down his phone and stop saying yes to every request and stop answering his phone every time it rings and stop being so engaged in something other than what was most important to him, which is his family. And the problem is he waited till it was too late. So his phone calls, his work wasn't so important when his son just committed suicide, and he knew he could have prevented that if he actually listened and was more productive and focused and present with his family. And I see this in entrepreneurship every day. I see people wait until their back's against the wall. I see people wait till their wife leaves them, their husband leaves them, their company goes under, they go bankrupt, they wait till a depression to become more productive and to become more efficient. And I challenge you, stop waiting till your back's against the wall to get good at productivity and to be more efficient. That's why I wanted to share this with you today. And I created a blueprint because I was the worst at productivity when I was coming up in entrepreneurship. I would work 60, 70 hours a week. I would get no results. I was always overwhelmed. I felt like my business was running me versus me running my business. I felt like my to-do list was never ending and I could never really get any momentum or get any real results. I went on a journey of time management and productivity mastery. I hired 2 different mentors that were good at time management. I read every possible book I could. If you see behind me right here, probably 20% of those books, there's another one in the other room, shelf of books. I've read every single book on time management I feel like I can. And I also took some courses. So through the last 10 years, I finally figured out when I started to value my freedom more than money, I finally figured out kind of how to hack the system. And I want to share some of the simple hacks with you. Now, this is not going to be a 45-minute video. This is going to be simple because there's not much to productivity. People like to complicate things, but I'll tell you, complexity is the enemy of execution and the enemy of clarity, which means if there's a bunch of noise in your head, if I give you 37 tips, I could give you the best 37 tips on the planet. But if you're overwhelmed, you will seek distraction subconsciously, right? And I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to keep it simple. But I just thought I'd share that story because I just seen it before where he literally waited till his son committed suicide to focus on his family. Right? It just blows my mind. And I see it every day. I'll wait till I have no more capacity, till I miss all my kids' games, till my business goes under to focus on it. Don't do that. prevent that from happening by getting good at productivity yesterday, right? So here's the first thing you have to realize. Productivity is simple. It's knowing what you want. It's knowing why you want it, and make sure that that's tied to your values. So productivity is knowing what's important to you. Pretty simple. That's about as simple as it gets. Productivity is knowing what's important to you. It's prioritizing based on your goals and values and sticking to those goals regardless of what happens along the way. So I'm going to share with you a couple reasons that I've seen why people fail. Then I'm going to give you 4 secrets and hacks. And then I'm going to give you something called the game-changing list that go through. And that's really it. And then we'll do possibly some Q&A. But go ahead and share where you're watching from, and share. Please share this as well. I want to really get this spread to everybody we can. What's up, guys? Good to see you guys. Check out the comments real quick. What's up, Ben? What's up, Gigo? Cool name. From Mexico. What's up, Art? Yes, sir. Good to see you. What's up, Eddie? Seattle, Washington in the house. So you got to know what you want, and you got to know why you want it. This is where I've seen most people fail in productivity. They are obsessed with saying yes. They take on too much. They don't have a filter system for when things come across their desk. They don't want to let people down, and they're focused more on pleasing people than being productive in their life. And if that's you, that has to stop right now. Pleasing people is the opposite of productivity, right? So people don't know how to say no. And the reality is, what I've realized is people respect you more when you say no. I'm so sorry, I can't take this on right now because I'm so focused on my mission for my family. I'm so focused on building my empire. I'm so focused on getting my company off the ground. I'm so focused on having my wife quit her job she hates so she can be free and we can travel. I'm so focused on blank, blank, blank. I would love to help you, and you know who I am. You know I would love to help you, but I just have to say no right now. Now, in the moment, they might be like, are you kidding me? You always help me. But later on, they'll be like, damn, that person values his time. I respect that. Maybe I should be more like that, right? Another thing is, you've heard me talk about this so many times, but people are so obsessed with information, and they're not as obsessed or focused on execution of the information or outcomes and real results. So one thing I say in my academy to people is, amateurs focus on more information, professionals focus on outcome and results. So the goal is to get addicted to outcomes and results that are tied to your end goal, not information and knowledge, because information and knowledge is easy. And if it's easy, there's not a ton of value attached to it. So I had to realize in productivity, and I realized this when I was in direct sales back in 2007 and 8 and 9, where people would tell me all the time, I'm going to break your record. I'm going to break the record. And I realized, wow, everyone's saying that because it makes them feel good in the moment to have some significance. No one's ever called them out or made them follow through on their word. So they, instead of doing it, they just say, I'm going to break the record. And of course, if 100 people tell me that, maybe one does it. So I started telling people, if it's easy, there's no value. So don't tell me you're going to do anything, because when did you learn how to talk as a human? What age do you learn how to talk? Santana is saying mama, dada, and he screams a lot, but he doesn't talk yet. I think what, 1.5, 2. So a 2-year-old, 3-year-old can say they're going to break the record, but obviously you have to follow through. How hard is it to buy a book and to read it? It's not that hard, right? I could read a chapter of this today. It takes me 20 minutes. It's not that hard, which means anyone can do it. Executing something that's going to move the needle for your business is valuable. Listening to a podcast is not that hard. Everyone and their mom does it these days. People are listening to podcasts all day long. That's not valuable because it's easy. The value is picking what podcast, sticking to one podcast, mastering the one thing that you need to master in the podcast that's relevant to your end result, and making sure you execute it and not moving on till you get actual results. So I think in this generation, people are obsessed with information because it's easier and it feels good learning. Executing is hard. So if you can flip that and don't focus so much on learning a bunch of new stuff, focus on 1 or 2 things you've learned and execute it, and don't read 50 books, master 1. I think that's a way to get more productive and more efficient with your time. So that's the second thing. Third thing is people just are not clear on what they want. You have to get crystal clear on what you want, and you have to not move on till you figure out what you want based on your experiences, based on your previous success, failures. You have to know exactly what you want, literally to the T. And you have to know why you want it. And the step that most people forget is you have to figure out what you're willing to give up a little bit, because you have to be willing to give up a little bit to go up. There's no way you're going to get everything you want without sacrificing anything. A lot of people want success, and they want financial freedom, and they want to travel, and they want to watch Netflix, and they want to feel energized, and they want to eat unhealthy, and they want to have a clean system and think super strategic and intelligently, and they want to drink. It's like, you got to pick and choose, man. You can't have everything. Now, when you put in the work and you have the systems in place and you build the business that allows you to have a lifestyle and freedom, then you can do all those things, right? But not before. So what's killed your momentum in the past, right? So in this blueprint, I talk about, in order to achieve productivity mastery and create freedom for yourself, you have to understand the foundation of productivity. You have to get crystal clear on what you want and define your productivity killers. You have to identify your profit producing activities and value actions, which we'll talk about in a second. But what's messed up your momentum in the past? The $1 million question is this: in the past, when you've had momentum, when you've succeeded, when you built a little bit of success, what's killed that? What's killed that? That's a huge question to ask. If you don't understand the foundational principles of why you haven't succeeded, a question I like to ask myself or people that I connect with is, a lot of people have massive potential, experience. They have the know-how, they have the wisdom, they have the ambition, intelligence, but they're struggling. So why aren't you already making six figures? And I see some of you guys in the chat, you're already making six figures, which is great, but some of you may not be. Why are you not already making seven figures? Why is there some 19, 20, 21-year-olds right now making seven figures and eight figures and some broke 50-year-olds? Why? You have to figure these things out before you can understand the next steps. One's willing to change. One's willing to adapt to the new times. One is willing to grow and invest in themselves and execute. And one is stubborn and says, oh, I don't need to change. I got 20 years of experience. When the reality is you have 1 year repeated 20 times, right? So productivity is learning and growing and bettering your best. And that's why you got to get crystal clear on what's killed your momentum, and then create a prevention plan for those things. So I wrote in here some of the biggest productivity killers, right? Social media, like phone calls, notifications, text messages, scrolling your phone, browsing the internet, multitasking, lack of planning, bad environment, family and friends, shopping, drugs and alcohol. There's a lot of common ones. It's called a activator or a trigger that kicks it off. What is a trigger? Typically when you run against a conversation or a situation that makes you uncomfortable emotionally, that's when we trigger a distraction. And when you're overwhelmed, you seek distraction subconsciously. So you got to figure out what top 3 things have distracted you in the last, let's say 30 to 60 days. Maybe it's scrolling. I don't know. Maybe it's answering your phone. I haven't had my phone. You can talk to anyone that knows me. I haven't had my phone on loud in probably 6 years. It's always on silent or vibrate, always. And I don't think I've answered my phone if I don't know the number in probably 6 years. They can leave a voicemail or a text or an email, right? Nothing is urgent. So that's why it's important. Now, this is just a distraction I had, right? And it used to be like I was scrolling so much, watching other people's lives, and I wasn't producing enough. So I made a decision. I'm not going to scroll anymore. I'm going to produce versus scroll, right? And that's something for me. Maybe you don't even have social media. I don't know. Only you know what distracts you. Now, here's the key. Create a prevention plan. Create a prevention plan, okay, for that distraction. So here's an example. When I was writing my book, I was so distracted because I'm not a good writer at all. I can't sit there and write for long periods of time because I get anxiety and I need to move and do something. I'm like type A, right? I want to do stuff. I want to connect. I want to impact. I want to go out and do things. And I used to always get distracted by the internet. So I was like, how can I combat this? So for the last probably 60% of my book, I would literally go to places that had no internet purposely, and I would work on it. I could, you wouldn't believe the amount of times that I got online to work on it. And I like went to the internet. I was like, shoot, there's no internet. Oh, perfect. That's why I'm here. right? So that's a huge key. That's a prevention plan to interrupt your interruptions. If you don't have a plan to interrupt your interruptions, your plans will always be interrupted. Okay. So you got to figure out what's distracting you, what's killed your momentum. Here's my favorite things that I feel like has made the biggest difference overall in my peace of mind and the freedom I have, because this last probably 2 years, I've gotten more results and made more money and had more freedom and more peace of mind than the previous 10 years combined. And I'm working half the time. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I love what I do. So sometimes I'll work all day and night. Sometimes I'll work weekends. I love what I do. So I like hustling, but that's the key, doing it because you choose to, not because you have to. So secrets and hacks. Number one, you got to create a stop doing list, like right now. I give details on how to do that in here and kind of what to type in. But you have to create a stop doing list. This says the amount of stress you have in your life is in direct correlation to the lack of rituals and systems you have in place. This is a system, okay? Create a stop doing list. What are some things you should stop doing? Next, sell yourself before you take anything on and have a criteria, a strict criteria for taking something on. If something comes across my desk or my inbox, I have my executive assistant and I have multiple filter systems that they have to go through to even get to me. Now, that's not me saying I'm so cool, you can't get to me. It's saying I value my family and my freedom and my time and my son and my wife and my travel and my vacation time more than money and anything else. I value my peace of mind and my time more than anything else. So if you're going to get to me, it needs to hit all these criterias. Does it impact people? Does it continue and push my mission forward? Does it make sense for how much I charge per hour? Is it going to increase my peace of mind or take it away? Right? So there's all these filter systems you have to have in order to be effective with your time. And then another thing is once it gets to me, I have to fully be sold on it before I take it on. If I'm not sold on it, I'm not taking it on. Right? I think the number one reason people procrastinate right now, and this is more important than ever with all the uncertainty going on, you have to have almost a militant routine right now that sets you up for success. If you're on lockdown, if you're at home, if you're not working, you have to have a routine that's so consistent that it allows you to have a free space to think and operate and create. So sell yourself. If something comes on, if you're not sold on something, you're going to procrastinate. If you're 99% sold and 1% not sold, you're going to take the doubt every time. I see this in relationships. I see this in business. Here's an example. You're not 100% sold on your significant other. You're 99% sold, but deep down, you're in your head, you're like, there might be someone better for me. You're going to take the doubt every time. That's why there's almost a 60% divorce rate, right? The grass is greener mentality is killing people's happiness and progress, right? Here's what I've realized. The grass isn't greener on the other side. It's greener where you water it. And wherever you are, you're still there. So if you leave, you're still there. You're the one that was having the problems. If you leave, you're still there, right? So that's why you got to work on yourself, not the economy, not the government, not anyone else. Work on yourself. So sell yourself first. If you're not sold, if you smoke, I don't know if anyone smokes anymore. I think it's a little outdated. I haven't seen someone smoke in a while. But let's say someone still smokes cigarettes like it's 1987 and they're not sold that it's bad for them and that it's killing them and that they're super, super bad for health. If they're not sold 100%, they're going to keep smoking. Right when they're sold or a tragic something happens, then they sell themselves off it, right? Next, 60, 20, 60. This is more tactical. In the first thing in the morning, I'm writing in my journal. I work out. I get clear on exactly what I want. I get into a better state of mind. And then I plan exactly what I'm doing that day. I always, for the first 60 minutes, do the hardest task that I dread doing the most first. So for 60 minutes, most people are watching the news, getting distracted, scrolling on their phone. I'm already more productive than most people because I value my time with my family later. Something I wrote down that I'll never forget back in 2008 and 2009 when I started getting better at productivity is I will be disciplined instead of working all the time. And I had to remind myself when I had a son, I will be disciplined instead of working all the time. A lot of people aren't even productive in the 8 hours they work. So they're making up for their lack of productivity by working more hours. Then they worked 12 hours and they could have got the same thing done in 6 if they were disciplined, consistent, and they were sold on exactly what they were doing, right? So keep that in mind. So for 60 minutes, it's the toughest task. No distractions, no phone, no internet, unless I'm doing something on the internet and I'm focused. 20 minutes, I take a transition trigger. After 60 minutes, I go shoot hoops. I jump in the pool. I do push-ups. I relax. I kind of rejuvenate myself. I come back. I resell myself on the next 60 minutes. And it could be something different. It could be the same activity. And I make sure I go all in again. So I do my morning routine, 60 minutes, 20-minute transition trigger, 60 minutes again, right? And you get more done. And here's the cool thing. You have so much momentum and so much courage and so much willpower that you have a way more productive day, because the worst thing you can do in productivity is put off the tasks that are the most important, that produce real results, till later. And what happens is you don't have any more willpower at the end of the day. So then it drags into the next day and it's a downward spiral, right? So that's why I get the toughest things done first, right? That's a huge, huge key. And when I'm doing the 60-20-60, I make sure what I'm doing is results focused, is something that's proven to get results and move the needle forward. Your goal is to take action on things that produce growth, that don't just maintain your business. Everything in your business that just maintains it should be systemized and delegated, right? Doing something unimportant well doesn't make it any more important. A lot of people are doing a lot of unimportant things extremely well, and they're wondering why they're not getting results or why the needle's not moving in their business, okay? So in terms of the 60-20-60, I have it right here. I just go through exactly what the most important time block is, and then I put the activities, take a 20-minute transition trigger, do the next 60 minutes. Super simple. Lastly, for me, is I have an in the zone ritual. So it's impossible, and it's naive to think that you're going to be in the zone 24/7. I used to be so hard on myself when I wasn't motivated or in the zone. I used to think something was wrong with me because I'm so energized. Now I just admit I'll be back in the zone again soon. After holidays, when I see my family, when I'm in a relaxed state, I always have my in the zone ritual ready. And in the zone ritual is things that have been proven to get you in the zone or fire you up or motivate you or give you juice when you don't feel like it. Make a list of those things. So the second you're not motivated, you could snap back into it. The people who can spark their own fire and the people who can motivate themselves literally at the snap of a finger are the most valuable. If you need someone else to motivate you, you're not going to make much money, and the value of you won't be high in terms of marketplace and entrepreneurship. But if you can spark your own fire and have a in the zone ritual, you become more valuable because you're self-sufficient, right? So have an in the zone ritual. And the game-changing list I want to talk about is you have to write down things you don't like doing, things you can't do, and things you shouldn't do, things you shouldn't be doing. If you can make a list of those 3 things, can't do, don't like, shouldn't be doing, and start delegating things you aren't good at or aren't your strengths, and find people that can complement and love doing what you're weak at, that's how you start to grow. That's what I think will be a game changer for you guys going into the next couple months. So productivity is an art, but it's more about emotional toughness. It's more about emotional strength and willpower to understand what's most important to you and to understand what your end result is and what's the fastest way to get that. That's productivity in a nutshell, not taking on things you don't feel like you should take on. So what do you want? What's most important to you? What's held you back in the past? What plan can you create where that doesn't happen again? When are you going to stop doing these things you should stop doing? Are you selling yourself on every single activity? And are you taking strategic, intelligent action on things you've learned before you learn other things? That's the biggest keys I felt to our success as a company, and for me, freedom-wise as well. So I'd love to get some questions going to. Oh, by the way, my team texted me. I created this after probably 10 years of going through all time management and productivity. One of the things that took our sales team to a whole new level was I got these tips. I executed them myself. The results went way up. So I was like, maybe it just worked for me. Maybe it works for my team. I started teaching people these specific tips and tactics. They went more, they got more productive. Their results went way up. So I was like, I could teach this to other people. Now, finally, after 10 years, I've put it into a 37-page blueprint with all of the things I've done, with little activities you could do with your team, all strategically put in. This was going to be 97 to 297. But I'm just going to give it free to you guys. So if you want this blueprint, literally, if you want this blueprint instantly, you can go to gamechangersmovement.com/blueprint. I wanted to add some value, and I think this will be such a breakthrough for you. You can take this tool. I have this tool everywhere. Okay. I use this everywhere because when you think about it, for me, the whole purpose of life is to do things in your terms, your own way, and have freedom to have choices to do what you want. And the number one way to get there is being more productive. So if you want to download this right now, there's no strings attached. It's just free for you guys. My job right now is to add as much value as I can, especially during this crazy pandemic. And if I could help you even save an hour or two a week, I've done my job. So gamechangersmovement.com/blueprint. If someone could put the link in the notes or in the link in the comments, that'd be awesome. So let's do some questions if you guys have any. People have been a distraction. Yeah, that's why you got to teach people how to communicate with you. Teach people how to communicate with you. Okay, they're not updating. All right. If there's no questions, guys, I appreciate you guys. Hope you have an amazing rest of your day. I hope you got some value here. I'd love to hear maybe any breakthroughs you've had or anything that you're going to do different, or maybe even share below what things you've done to increase your productivity and to become more effective as an entrepreneur, as a father, as a mother, as a son, daughter, friend, business partner, colleague, manager, whatever, leader. Share what you've done as well. I'd love to keep the conversation going because I think this topic is so valuable, and I just don't think people are effective or efficient enough. Rudy, good to see you. I got you. Horace, thanks for posting that. Brighton, good to see you. Emery, what's your question? I will stay for you. I got you, my brother. And a lot of this is a lot more deep dive than I'm even making it out to be. Like this is, it's crazy that I'm giving this away, but I want my legacy to be about giving value. And to be honest, we pride ourselves as a company in giving better free content than most people charge for. This is probably better than some time management courses people charge thousands for, just because of how detailed, deep dive it is, where it's just like a done for you playbook where you can just put things in and you'll see your productivity go up. Obviously, you got to nothing works unless you do, but hopefully you get some value from this. Okay, let's check out that question. I am not seeing it come in. Oh, here we go. How do you not get distracted by Facebook and Insta so much? I just make a decision. It's either it controls me or I control it. I value time with my family more than seeking distraction or more than looking at other people's lives. So it is just a decision I've made. It's a decision I've made. And I have a principle where if I feel like there's a pull towards something and I need something, I resist it, because that's where willpower and strength comes. So if I feel myself in the morning like, oh, I want to check my Instagram, I know I shouldn't. Oh, I feel like drinking beer. Oh, I really feel like a beer. I'm not having it because I feel like I need it. That's not the case for me, but I'm just giving examples. So it's just a decision. When you value your time, when you value time with people you care about, when you value freedom over wasting time online, it becomes easy. So I sold myself off IG and Facebook. Now I still get on and post, but I used to get on, post and refresh and keep going and check out all the comments, keep going. Now I get on, comment back for people. I post and I get off because I feel like my mission and calling is to impact people, and I can't be impacting people when I'm consuming. The only way to impact is to produce. Consumers are going to finish last in this new economy. Producers and creators are going to finish first. That's why. Ben, I try to work on times other people are asleep. Yeah, I do that too. So here's the key. You just got to work when you ever have the best willpower. So people are so obsessed with mornings. I know people that sleep in till 9 or 10. I know millionaires that sleep in till 9 or 10 and they're up till 2 or 3 in the morning because that's when they are the most creative. So don't get so caught up in society's expectations or all these gurus' expectations. Better get up at 5 a.m. I mean, that's irrelevant. Put your toughest, most important tasks to when you have the most willpower. Doesn't matter if it's 10 a.m. or 9 p.m. Devin, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Yep, I know you've been crushing it. I think you're in the Game Changers Academy or you're in the Productivity Breakthrough. So just take action on those things and you're going to see your lifestyle and your results go way up, man. Proud of you. Hold on, I'm seeing more questions. Can you repeat one more time what list we should make? Stop doing list. Things you should stop doing. And then things you can't do, shouldn't be doing, and don't like doing. That's your other list. What are your favorite things to do when you're low energy to recharge? It all depends. Sometimes when I've been going so hard and I need to recharge, sometimes I disconnect from all social media and I either go out in nature or I listen to my favorite song or I look at my biggest goals. I play with Santana, my son. It just depends on the situation. But when I need to recharge and get back in the zone, I mean, for me, it's become easier than ever. If I just get a quick workout in, if I look at my goals and reasons, if I think with deep precision how I want my life to be and what I want my legacy for my family to be and where I want to go, I don't have time to be distracted. So I snap back into it. So call my mentor, quick workout, shift my focus to gratitude. I look at my goals. I will play with my son. I'll listen to my favorite song. And if I do 3 or 4 of those things, back at it. So it just kind of depends. And sometimes I will literally take the rest of the day off. If I've been going hard for 6 or 7 days, I'm like, I'm taking the rest of the day off. And it's rare that it ever continues the next day. Usually if I take a half a day off, I'm so focused the next day to crush it that it's never consistently multiple days for me. Yeah, nature's huge. I love being out in nature. All right, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to get back to the family, and I got some more things to do today. I just wanted to hop on real quick to share these things. I hope they help. I would strongly recommend checking this blueprint out, gamechangersmovement.com/blueprint. Let me know, too, when you get it. Let me know if you like it. If you want to follow me on IG, if you guys have IG, you guys can post your handles below. And maybe if you guys want more engagement, have everyone on that's watching follow everyone's IG and engage with each other. But my IG is Peter J. Voogd, at Peter J. Voogd. I appreciate you guys. Have an amazing rest of your day. Comment your biggest breakthroughs below. Thanks for everyone that watched live and all you guys watching the replay. Much respect. Here's to a productive and amazing next couple months for you guys.